All right, we want to welcome everybody to Track is Our Field podcast. We welcome back after a rainy week. We hope everybody's been safe. And one thing about it, Carl, no track meets were going on in Arkansas this past week due to all the rain, other than maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, and that was it.
Well, we want to open up again with our sponsors. We want to thank Tommy Howard, a financial advisor with Edward Jones out of Little Rock, 501-224-7699. Design Lab, that used to be known as Locker Room Athletics here in Hot Springs, Steve Qualls at 501-767-0066, and also the Arkansas Track Coaches Association. You can find them at arkansastrackcoaches.com. And most of all, too, we want to thank the Let's Side Broadcasting class for having us here and putting this together. Carl, what do we got coming up right now?
Well, we've got a special guest we're going to be visiting with, and it's the head track and cross country coach at Ouachita Baptist University, Steve Guymon.
Well, let's bring him in.
All right, here we go.
Coach
Hello,
Guymon,
Steve.
can you hear us?
Coach Guymon, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome to our podcast, Track is Our Field. All right, I got a question for you, Coach Guymon. Can you tell us about your journey to bring back the track and field program at Ouachita Baptist University?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. I was coaching actually at Harding University. I was there for 17 years, and my son decided to play football for Ouachita. And so I got to know Ouachita a little bit better, and I was over here watching a game of his and got talking to our president, Dr. Sells, and he was interested in getting track and field started at Ouachita. They had a cross-country team that was coached by our swim coach, actually, and he was interested in trying to build a program because he had been to a convention and found out that track and field is one of the best ways to increase enrollment at a small school. And so and he's just, he's an innovator and just a tremendous president, but he just wanted to, get the enrollment going and asked me if we talked about it for a couple of years. And he ended up in 19, asked me if I'd come over and start it. And I kind of like challenges, and I like to build things. I started a program at Cordova High School outside Tennessee, or Memphis, and we, brand new school, and started that from scratch. And when I started at Harding, we had like 10 girls, I think, and 9 guys, and we increased that. So I kind of like building the things, and I like the challenge, but you also have to have the support, and so that was pretty cool with the. Dr. Sells asking me to do this and the support he gave me to do it. And I can tell you how we kind of went about it, is that if you want me to tell you how we built it, but we started with seven girls when I got here, and I told them what my vision was, and Dr. Sells wanted us to have 30 girls in 5 years, and within 2 years we had almost 40. And on our roster as of now, this is our 6th year, we're going to have 142 on our roster next fall.
Wow.
So it's grown quite a bit, and it's definitely helped with the enrollment. It's kind of exciting. It's gone a little faster than I thought, but in doing that, he's been so supportive, and so is administration, and Coach Sharp and all of them. They helped us build a track, and we got a brand new facility, and just watching all this happen within a very short time has been extremely rewarding. But we did it really going after a lot of kids from Arkansas and Texas. I'd say probably 65% of our team are Arkansas kids, and the rest of them are from Texas. I kind of kid around a lot, but we have a couple of foreigners. We have one from Oklahoma, or a couple from Oklahoma, and one girl from Tennessee.
There you go.
And so that's that's what we've done. We just kind of built it around the area, and tried to get kids that are willing to develop and take a chance on us, and that's what we've done here.
Hey, Steve, This is Don Pierce. What that 140? That's not girls. That's men and women combined.
That is,
Right.
Combined, men and women, track and field, cross country.
That's still a bunch. You said you like to build things. You certainly have done a tremendous job in doing that. My next question to you, I was going to ask about the facility, and you can tell us more about that in a moment. But I want to know, how does this program that you've got at OBU affect track and field in Arkansas, for high school in Arkansas?
Well, I think with us adding track at Ouachita, which they had many years ago with Coach Graff,
right.
I think they stopped at 92 maybe, or 94.
That's about right.
We hosted our meet the other day. It was the first time they've hosted a meet here in over 30 years. And so a lot of the alumni, when they stopped the track back then, they were upset. And now getting them back involved, and that's been really rewarding and been fun to watch them be excited about something, us starting the men back. And it's just been, with the way we started it, just with the Arkansas schools, though, I think COVID helped us out a lot, because the NCAA Division I were not allowed to go out and recruit during that time, and we were.
Wow.
And so I spent a lot of time going to high school meets and recruiting a lot of people in Arkansas, and we just tried to get out there and get our name out there. And luckily, it's kind of a domino thing, but we got a couple of good athletes out of Arkansas, and that they heard about that. And then we get a few more, and we get a few more, and we've been able to pull some really good kids from Arkansas. And I think what it does for the Arkansas athletes really is just gives them another place to look. And the thing with Division I right now, with all the changes and the rules, and I just talked to, some Division I coaches this past weekend at Ole Miss, and they're having to cut their rosters down to 45 and things like that. That gives a lot of kids that they may have these big dreams to go to these huge schools and perform, but they also can do the same thing at a very small school. Because we went to Texas Relays last week, competed against the best ones, and in fact, we were in that race that the Arkansas girls ran 8:16. And so, you get a shot. And that's the thing I like with our level. It just gives a lot of kids an opportunity to do the sport that they love. And, and I, with
absolutely.
our staff, I feel, we can help them, grow and get better. And that's our goal. And so that's kind of the way we've kind of built it.
Well, Steve, just a question. With those kids, are you seeing any of those kids wanting to become future high school coaches or maybe college coaches? Because we've been lacking in Arkansas since the AIC went away, where we used to get great track coaches out of that. Are some of your kids interested in becoming coaches in high school level?
They are. In fact, we've got a young girl that is coaching over at Cabot right now. And Becca Beard, and she's, helping actually a kid that I coached at Harding, Coach Fisher, and helping that staff. And Cabot's got a great program, but we've got quite a few that are getting into I just had a visit with a young man from Greenbrier a minute ago, and he's debating whether to go into PT or coaching. And he said, Coach, it seems like you really enjoy what you're doing, and I'm thinking I want to go into coaching. So that's been really fun to kind of watch them. And we've got a young girl from Bologna that's going to be a senior. She's going into coaching, Lainey White. It's fun to watch them. And when they get to those schools, too, to be able to see them succeed and watch them, have fun with their athletes and watch their athletes get better. But,
that's great.
Yeah, I think.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you joining us and sharing what's going on at Ouachita and their track program. I'm certainly personally very pleased that you've got that program back going again, and it's one more school that's given, like you said, opportunity for those kids to further themselves in the world of track and field. Anyway, I will add one thing. I saw a good aerial photo of your track this weekend from all that rain. It's a good thing y'all brought in all that dirt and raised your track up, because it's high and dry.
They spent $1 million for the dirt work to raise it up 9 feet out of the floodplain, and luckily we did, because we still have a facility standing, and it looks, and we're heading to practice today. So
yeah, That's great.
It's still there, and hopefully we'll be able to host a lot of good meets. We're planning on hosting a really big high school meet next year here. Get some people down in this area. So there's a lot of good track in Arkansas, a lot of good high school coaches, and so it's been fun. It's been fun, and that's the other thing too. At our level, it's just the thing that I choose to do. But we have some kids, they just wanted to continue their sport, and sometimes they're not allowed to do that at some schools. They can at our level. They can come out and they can give it a shot. 'Cause you don't know. I mean, they may not. They grow and they become better, and next thing you know, they're pretty good, and they're scoring in conference, and so it just gives a lot of people an opportunity. So, and this building this track definitely helped.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, Steve, we appreciate you coming on our podcast with us, and we appreciate you and the job you've done at Harding and now at Ouachita. Appreciate the coach that you are and the things you've done for the sport of track and field in Arkansas, and most importantly for those young men and women to be involved.
One last question.
I appreciate you two. Y'all do a great job for track and field, and just y'all are Hall of Famers in Arkansas. I mean, y'all have done a tremendous amount to promote the sport, and it's been really enjoyable in the last, I got to think how many years I've been in Arkansas now, 20-something years, to watch it grow high school-wise and through the college ranks.
Steve, just the last question I want to ask. Where is your conference meet, and what date will that be happening?
We are going to, this year we rotate. Now we're going to be in the rotation with the new track, but we have 4 schools that have a collegiate track: SAU, us, Oklahoma Baptist, and Harding. And this year it's going to be at Oklahoma Baptist. And so we're going there April the 30th through May 2nd. I think that's right. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3-day meet up there for our conference championship.
Well, Steve, again, as Carl was saying, we appreciate you taking the time, and look forward to seeing y'all continue to grow and have success there at Ouachita Baptist.
Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, Steve. Thank you. Talk to you later.
All right. Okay.
Bye. Bye.
We're going to take a quick time out, and we're going to get on the phone line to talk to Coach Lance Harter, former University of Arkansas women's program coach. So we'll be right back after this timeout.
Hey, Lance, this is Carl Kuntz.
Hello, sir.
Appreciate you joining our podcast. Don Pierce and I are on the air now, and we got a couple of questions for your program.
First, Lance, this is Don. Before we get started, I have the Lance Harter bobblehead by the mic that they gave out when you retired. So you're on the mic right now on your bobblehead here, Lance. I know you can't see it, but you're here, brother.
Well, I appreciate it. That was a surprise for me, especially. That whole evening was really special, and the idea of having a bobblehead was pretty significant in my life. And I know my family was there, and they were all impressed that I've graduated to be able to have a bobblehead.
Well, hey, it's on the podcast. Everybody's going to be able to see it, Coach.
All right.
That's awesome.
Lance, can you tell me, this is Carl again, can you tell me how retirement has been going for you? I know it's been kind of semi-retirement because you called back in a little bit. So tell us how that's going for you.
Well, it's very much semi. The idea of walking away from coaching cold turkey just didn't fit into the mindset whatsoever. Much to my wife's dismay. But, what's nice is I can kind of come and go as I please and build a schedule around, what other obligations I have at the time. I am working with a few athletes that are post-collegians. A couple of them have pro contracts, so they have a very much vested interest in trying to continue to improve, and I keep the group relatively small, so I'm not back to the 24/7 that I lived for well, 35 years. The one thing that I've noticed in this change in life is the amount of time that I devoted to recruiting was a surprise to me. How much time took out of my life, returning calls, making calls, trying to keep the program at the stature that it earned. And that's no easy task anymore. And so we were both, my wife and I were surprised how much more free time I have that I don't have to recruit. As far as doing the X's and O's for working with the pro athletes, that's a joy. I always enjoy that. And then I've been contacted by a company called Geo Sports Surfacing, and they've asked me to introduce them to various coaches. So I have a lot of contacts in our sport, and they think that's valuable. So periodically, I'll travel to a destination to chat with coaches about, resurfacing their track facility. Because this company, what really set them apart compared to most is they want to save the sport as well. And that really kind of rung in my mind, hey, these guys are in it. Yeah. Are they going to try to operate with profit? For sure. But their mindset is, hey, let's try to save the sport as well. And they've been very, very resourceful, and look forward to, making some coaches and their athletes happy with a new surface.
Well, Coach, a question for you. You're leaving out of California to come to Arkansas, and you know you're coming to a school that's had success in the men's program with John McDonald. What was your thought process coming to Arkansas, knowing John McDonald's having success on the men's program? They bringing you in to bring success because you've had some national championships there in California. What was your thought process in coming to Arkansas?
Well, there was never a thought in my mind that Arkansas would be an option. I knew Bev while I coached at Cal Poly, and we competed against each other periodically. But I had turned down a bunch of other jobs for one reason or another. And some of them were, UCLA and USC to stay in California and Cal Berkeley. But the idea was it just wasn't the right fit. And then after meeting Bev and talking about this position, one of the first people I called was John and said, hey, you're doing it obviously in the men's side. And then he just was thoroughly convinced that with the right amount of energy and the right coaching staff, that the women could do the same. So it was a very positive feedback that, hey, this is one you're just not able to turn down. I did take a pay cut to come to Arkansas, but that was how much I was convinced that this was a sleeping giant that could win national championships as well.
You were right. You got the right guy.
It turned out, yeah. And then when I got here, the very first meeting Bev asked me to attend, which was the day that the moving truck arrived, is, hey, do you have a coat and tie? Can you look real spiffy? Because we're going to go to a meeting where we're converting from the Southwest Conference to the Southeast Conference. And at the time, all the giants were in the SEC. And I was like, man, I don't know if that's a good idea, Bev. Because I kind of had thoughts that I could wire the Southwest Conference titles, no doubt about it. But the SEC, boy, that's a different monster.
They set you up right off the bat, didn't they?
Right off the top. But, in hindsight, a few years later, it turned out to be probably the smartest decision the University of Arkansas made in that decade.
It was a smart decision. You mean to go to Southeast Conference? It was a smart decision to hire you too, obviously.
Well, things worked out great. Bev kept saying, hey, the budget is going to grow. We're going to be able to get better assistant coaches, expand the program. financially. Just be patient, and we were able to attract some kids to come right off the bat, and then we brought in Lonnie Green, and then eventually Brian Compton, and then we really took off after that.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you arrived at Arkansas. What have you seen a difference in because we're kind of talking in our podcast, the high school coach and that. What have you seen in the growth or decline in track in Arkansas in the high school part since you've been here?
Well, I think the one thing that impressed me was Arkansas did have talent. There was no doubt about it. And we had some young coaches like yourselves that were trying to make your mark in the high school ranks, not only in the state, but also regionally. And that was a pleasant comfort and surprise for myself as well as my staff that, there's some hidden treasures in the state of Arkansas. And so those people ended up being, major scorers for us. In fact, the couple of the first national championships that we had at Arkansas, there was 4, 5, 6 local Arkansas kids that were contributors to that program in those championships. So unfortunately, we convinced other schools that, hey, Arkansas is winning with, we had some international athletes, we had some national across, from coast to coast, but we also had Arkansans. And that has since grown. I think that more and more so, Bentonville is on the nationals, side of having great success. They went out and tried to challenge the national high school record in the 4x8 the other day indoors. So, we're having people be at Nike Nationals and Nike Regionals. Those are huge steps forward for local recognition and national recognition that, hey, the state of Arkansas might be a small populace as a state, but there's some coaches that are doing a really good job with those young people in that state and are able to get national recognition.
Well, Coach, now that you're out of it, and you were talking about recruiting and so forth. NIL, how's it affecting track and field in the numbers where we're fixing to have to go 45 kids on a roster? How are you seeing that's going to affect collegiately?
The thing that's really scary when that subcommittee made those recommendations of roster limits and so on and so forth, everything is geared towards controlling finances. And they, already have, some programs like Arkansas are fortunate to have the maximum at the time was 18 scholarships. Now that number can actually escalate to 45. Some schools are going to be blessed with those types of finances. Others are not. So it's going to polarize even more so on the national scale of the haves versus the have-nots. And it remains to be seen what Arkansas will be able to do financially to keep up nationally or even in the conference with what other schools are going to obligate financially towards track and field. The thing that bothers me most is, we always have the opportunity to bring in some kids that maybe don't have the marks, but just need a little bit of time to evolve and, give them a chance to be part of the program, possibly redshirt them, and then evolve with time and maturity and confidence and strength to be able to handle, the national level or the conference level. Now with those caps on those rosters, you're actually going to be confronted with the idea of having to turn kids that really have the desire and the passion, but you won't be able to give them an opportunity. And that, I think, is really unfortunate, and I don't think that committee thought through that part of it. Is some schools going to have 45 full rides and be able to ride the crest of, getting anybody and everybody they want? Will NIL complement that? I know there's a very good athlete that was at a university doing very, very well, and got offered $40,000 to move to another university plus her educational expenses. So if those are going to continue, then it'll polarize it even more between those that are financially sound and those that are hoping to do a great job.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time and thing. I just personally, you were always so nice to us young coaches that now that and how you accepted us and were always willing to help us and talk with us, and I always appreciated that I knew I could go up to Lance Harter, even though he's at the University of Arkansas, he would talk track or he'd talk family. And Coach, I always appreciated you being like that.
Absolutely, me too.
I think that is something that as a coaching body we need to do more of, is appreciate the passion and the energies that high school coaches. I still look back. I coached high school for 5 years. I think those relationships and those opportunities that both as an athlete and as a young coach that I'll cherish the rest of my life. And some of my greatest conversations are still today with those young men and women that I coached a long time ago when I was maturing as a young track and field head coach.
Yep. Well, thanks again, Lance, for joining our podcast. And again, we appreciate all you've done for track and field at the University of Arkansas and in the state of Arkansas.
Whenever I can help. That's what I'm here for.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you, and I'll be at Arkansas this weekend, and so hopefully I'll get to see you at Fayetteville.
Oh, for sure. Count on it.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thanks again, Lance. Bye.
Thanks for all you do.
Yes,
All right.
sir. Well, Carl, we kind of shortened on time. Meet results last week with the rain. What did we have? A couple of meets, I think 2 meets on Tuesday.
We had a couple of meets on Tuesday. Best performances. We didn't get a whole lot of changes right there. We had the Magnolia Panther relays, and then later in the week we had the Whitey Smith Relay Carnival, which is unusual. It was pretty much all relays, distance medleys, sprint medleys, that type of thing. And that was the only thing that changed in the best performances on mile split. And from that meet, from the Whitey Relay Carnival. Rogers girls bettered that 9:14, ran 9:11.81. So that 9:14 they did in indoor, they done a 9:11.81. They also, the Fayetteville ran a 1:42.83 in the 4x200 relay for the ladies, and Rogers 4x4 relay 3:59.51, under 4 already this time. The boys, same thing, relays. Fayetteville ran 3 relays, best performances for the season, 41.75 in the 4x100. They ran 127.48 in the 4x200, and then they ran 3:23.93 in the 4x400. Rogers boys ran 8:02.25 to overtake the best performance for outdoor. Of course, we know that's going to go faster once the best ones start running outdoor. Meets, upcoming meets this week. Let me give the whole list.
Yeah, just throw them out there.
We got today, Ricebird Relays in Stuttgart. Tomorrow, you got the Leon White Relays in Cabot. Also, tomorrow, Mustang Relays in Forest City. Goblin Relays in Harrison. On Thursday, we got the Cardinal Relays in Camden Fairview. Domtar Relays in Ashdown. The Gentry Pioneer Relays. The Bulldog Relays in Greenwood. The Jerry Roberts Memorial in Valonia. The Lake Hamilton Invitational, which I will be there. Quitman Relays. Cyril Lowe Relays in Batesville, Wellman Relays in Pocahontas, the Owl Relays in McGee, the Sand Lizard Relays in Dardanelle, the Lion Relays in England, and the Fayetteville Bulldog Relays That's the high school. Collegiate meets that college people are competing in. We got the Little Rock Invitational. I know UCA, UAPB, Hendricks will be there. The Arkansas Spring Invitational that you mentioned a moment ago, Don, will be going on. Stephen F. Austin, I know OBU and Harding and perhaps some other Arkansas colleges will be going to that. The Crimson Tide relays in Alabama, ASU, for one, is going to be at that meet. That's the college meets.
Well, just update. There was an early mix-up on state track meets as we got find out about officiating what track meets. But just an update. Bentonville West will be hosting the 6A meet on May 8th. Valonia, the 5A, will be on May the 8th. 4A Heber Springs will be May 6th. It was first posted to officials that it was the 8th, but it is on May the 6th, Tuesday. Also, Prescott will be host of the 3A on May the 6th. Gurdon High School will be hosting the 2A and 1A at Gurdon that day. So
same day Right.
So that was corrected today on an email I received. We hope you're enjoying our podcast. We're learning as we go. We hope to get equipment bought here in the next few days so we can start going out and visiting with athletes and coaches around the state. You won't see our ugly mugs, but you'll be able to hear us, our voices, and hopefully athlete and coaches' voices as we continue to hopefully update these podcasts. We appreciate your time. Carl, do you have anything else you would like to share?
Well, once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Design Lab, formerly known as Locker Room Athletics with Steve Qualls, 501-767-0066.
And Tommy Howard, financial advisor with Edward Jones in Little Rock, 501-224-7699. And the Arkansas Track Coaches Association, again, they've got a lot of great things on their website at artrackcoaches.com. And again, we want to thank Lakeside Broadcasting for allowing us to come to their room right now and use their facilities. Until next podcast, go out there and run one for us. Have a good one.
Go to a track meet this week. It's going to be great weather.